Good afternoon, Santa Fe Chamber. It is March 5th, and we got 17 days to go left in this legislative session. So, with a little over 2 weeks to go, there's really a lot of work that still needs to be done. Wanted to flag a few things that the governor has already signed, which is what Senator Worth and the Santa Fe Senate delegation, as well as Leader Skapansky and the House delegation, said they were going to do, which is really get through like the Behavioral Health Reform and Investment Act. That's Senate Bill 3. The governor has signed that already, as well as the Criminal Competency and Treatment legislation, which is House Bill 8. So the Senate and the House has made good on that commitment to make sure that we really helped address a lot of the challenges that we're seeing here in New Mexico and in Santa Fe. There's a number of other things that are really looking to get done. So we'll see a number of bills that pass. However, there's still quite a long way to go. So if you look at 17 days, that's still a lifetime in legislative days. The main thing that the legislature has to do in conjunction with the administration is really pass the budget. So like we talked about last time, that has passed the House. That is sitting over in Senate Finance, where they're looking to kind of look through that this week, making sure that that is balanced. There is that looming effect related to the federal government and many cuts that they're signaling may happen. So as we look at what the chairman of Senate Finance and the chair of House Appropriations, Senator Munoz and Representative Small, are probably looking to come together to figure out what holes are going to be created, if that, related to our two key science institutions, higher education, what balances that we have to do related to healthcare. I think we've talked about it before. We do have about $11-12 billion budget, but when you add everything in, that's about 2-3-fold, considering how much money is tied to the Medicaid charges, the Medicare, and the money that comes from the federal government. So it remains to be seen what creative ways we're going to be looking to fill a lot of those. Like we mentioned last time too, a couple of days ago, the governor signaled that because of that looming big question mark from the Trump administration, there could be a special session that happens to make sure that we have a lot of these holes plugged. Now, what does that do for the business community? Well, it's creating a lot of challenges relating to a tax package that is coming up. There was a plan that was proposed and is quickly making its way through the House to increase taxes related to corporate tax, an equalization tax on oil and gas, and others that could probably raise $500 to $600 million year over year, which in terms has pluses and minuses, right? One, you're able to sustain a lot of these federal programs, which we need in a state like ours that are so reliant on that federal funding. However, you're really taxing an industry and a community that has really put forward, especially in the last 5 years, a huge budget boon for the state, where we've been able to put money away for rainy days, create special programs related to education. Now looking at $1 billion behavioral health fund, that how much can you take out of an industry that is creating so much for our communities and our state? So it remains to be seen what funds are going to be created, what tax increases, what supplementals we're going to have to pair that with, as well as a lot of the money that's sitting on the sidelines for some of the projects that we're probably looking to get reauthorization for this year, depending on how the Senate chairman and the House chairman want to handle a lot of those things. Related to, two big hospitals here in town, some legislation that we've been looking at, the mergers and acquisitions legislation, which is a little challenging in some remarks, that you're giving authority and oversight of hospital mergers and acquisitions to the government. Some say that's not good business. Some say that's something that needs to be done related to oversight. We as the chamber don't feel that is the case. We feel that we should let private enterprise, govern itself and really take the skin in the game and lead it up to those types of decisions. Staffing ratios related to our nurses and doctors, that's on the House floor this week. As well as Medicare oversight, which is something that we in the business community have been watching. A key thing that we see here a lot in New Mexico, especially here in Santa Fe, is, there seems to be movement on how we're going to restructure CYFD. it looks like the legislature might have a plan moving forward that not might be in alignment with what Governor Lujan Grisham wants to do, but we're starting to see that there might be some consensus from a legislative aspect and trying to make sure that those that are most vulnerable are protected as best we can protect them through an agency level. And this would really give oversight and allow for child advocates to be placed in the Attorney General's office. That has been an idea that's been floated for a number of sessions, and now it's looking to get a little bit more steam. So really, we want to put that onus with Raul Torres, our AG. Torres, our AG, remains to be seen, but that will be a decision that the legislature is looking to make. Other things too related to business, especially with the age of our iPhones, is data privacy. There's a number of bills related to artificial intelligence, data privacy that are making its way through. A couple of measures really that we've seen in other states that are facing their own challenges, especially in a state like Colorado, where we've borrowed some policy that we're discussing over at the Roundhouse, where the legislature is really going to have those debates on. And there's ones that really broaden it and give the onus up to protecting those that need it most, but not making it so cumbersome that really no one's going to know how to figure out how this law works. So if you're looking at a lot of these initiatives, data privacy is something that is really going to be a hot button issue over the next couple of weeks. Also looking at kind of moving back into artificial intelligence, there's a House Joint Memorial 9, which is really looking at a study on how this state should take up that conversation. Again, looking at what Colorado has done, they passed a legislation which now is full of challenges, that this year they're working through a study initiative that I think this state is probably more apt to do, as opposed to passing some comprehensive legislation that we're probably not ready for, and New Mexico's not ready in prime time. Some economic development initiatives, both really related to electricity and how we can give more flexibility to the PRC and create opportunities for turnkey development, so we can keep New Mexico on the map and compete with our neighboring states. We have a site readiness bill that's really being championed by the administration and the Secretary Designee Rob Black of Economic Development. This one kind of has pros and cons as you look at it. It does give the opportunity to create utility development. So companies that are looking at New Mexico, it's not a 2, 3, 4 year down the road option. It is maybe within months or a year, compared to what we see in Texas and Arizona and Nevada. There's sites, there's buildings, and they're fully loaded, ready to go. All you have to do is just open the door and turn on the lights. So this would really help in certain respects. If we're looking at a power up legislation, which would provide more flexibility to the PRC to streamline the process and really look at electrification initiatives, looking at proper planning and that kind of thing. Those bills are slowly making its way through. It's not really known how successful they'll be, but they do have some momentum behind them. And then as we're looking at some stuff that the chamber has always really fought against, was increase in minimum wage. Even though we do have some of the highest rates here in Santa Fe and New Mexico, there seems to be a minimum wage bill that's a little stuck right now. Legislation related to rent control that was defeated a few days ago is looking to be resurrected. Really making sure that you don't pass on that tax lightning as it relates to development. If we're looking at here in Santa Fe, we've seen a number of apartment complexes go up to provide much needed housing opportunities. Development ideas like that would really be hindered if we can't really control what we refer to as tax lightning related to goods and services, which is kind of a hindrance in our policy that we have here in New Mexico. And so it's going to be a rough and tumble next 17 days. We really appreciate all the work all 112 legislators do, their staff, the analysts, the governor and her folks. I mean, they work tirelessly. The legislature is 100% volunteer, and they really do care a lot about what goes on, particularly to their districts. So with that said, if there are challenges that you see, please go to nmlegis.gov, find out who your legislator is, give them a call, shoot them a note, let them know that you're thinking about them, but also let them know what you think about some of the policies that they're carrying. You know, not all things are great for everybody, but you know, these people are elected to represent us in our community, especially those here in Santa Fe. We do have a wonderful delegation that is doing everything they can, and they do have a lot of onus because of the leadership positions that they're in. If you look at who represents us, if they're not in a leadership position per chamber, they are in a leadership position per committee, and or they are in a leadership position related to the committees that they sit on. It is a very powerful delegation, and I really would encourage everyone, one, to let them know that you're thinking about them, let them know that you know they're doing a good job, and if you do have a disagreement with something that they're championing, please let them know that, but do it respectfully, because these folks are taking on a huge burden related to what is in the best interest of the state, what is in the best interest of the community, and really trying to balance what they know is to be right and wrong. So it is March 5th. We got till March 22nd at noon. There's a lot going on. Hope everyone is safe. Hope everyone is really looking at the Santa Fe Chamber, and we should give Bridget and her team a welcome round of applause. She has been more active this year than any year. She has really taken on a leadership role as it relates to all the other chambers. They're really standing up for what's right for the business community here in Santa Fe. If you hadn't heard her testify, she's energetic, she's articulate, she's representing us really well, and she's also made herself available, and that has not gone unnoticed. So Bridget, we really want to thank you, Christy, and the team for all the work that you do. Really want to thank the board for all their support and really trying to get some feedback going on a lot of these bills. Not all of them are business friendly, not all of them are necessary, but that's what a 60-day is. You know, it's a democratic process. Everyone has the right to put forward a measurement. We have 112 senators and representatives that really are looking to champion these as the sponsors and really make informed decisions. And it's up to us as a business community to give them the good, the bad, the indifferent, and why we think it's important, and also why we think others might not think it's important, because you know it's the right thing to do, and we as business minded folks always want those to make an informed decision, and make sure that they have the information in front of them is the right information without any regard for anything else that's not important. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk to you next Wednesday, and if you need anything, as always, reach out to myself, reach out to Bridget, reach out to our chairman, Art Trujillo. We're available to you, and if you see anything wrong that we need to start paying attention to, let us know. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.